Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornblut, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Oh, if time could just stand still forever. Clemson could leave Chapel Hill with a 6-2 win over the Tar Heels. But time waits for no man, as we know. But the Tigers are off to a 6-2 lead, hitting a couple of threes early. The key word there is early. A long way to go, as we know in Chapel Hill. Funny things happen. You know, for a while, if you're Clemson, you're playing North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and you're hanging in there, it's all good. 5-on-5. Everybody's treating you nice. But all of a sudden, when it starts getting late, pro, and that streak's on the line, and you're playing in Chapel Hill, we know what happens now, don't we?
Yeah, and no more than when Rick Barnes – see, I was the one who tried to, just kind of get quiet. But, I mean, it was on display when they fouled out all the Clemson players and they had to play 4-on-5. That was ridiculous.
One time a few years ago, it took me a little while, but I went through the record books and I added up in the Clemson-North Carolina series the free throw shooting attempts by the two teams. And it's so one-sided, it's obscene. Now, I know a lot of that is, well, Clemson's losing late and they've got a foul and that kind of stuff. That probably plays a part in it. But a lot of those games are blowouts with 5 minutes to go, and Clemson had no need to foul. I mean, good. My point is the fouling took place during the real meaningful part of the game. Sometimes the foul differential in their games is so out of whack, it's not even funny. You can't even make an excuse for the officials.
Well, Phil, don't you think the ACC just paid Clemson back this ACC championship game?
Wow.
They will take all of that back for that offsides.
That certainly doesn't make the late Bill Foster or Tate's Lock or Rick Barnes or Cliff Ellis. Who am I forgetting? Any of them feel any better?
Yeah, just take the whole roster of coaches. The interesting thing,
and that right there is why Clemson is probably the worst basketball job in the country. Because that sentiment, even though he was just kind of goofing around, is probably the way 90% of Clemson fans feel when it comes to basketball, good for football. And when you have that mindset to a basketball coach, it makes your job a bad job.
Well, I still go back to that game in Carmichael Auditorium. I think Tate's Lock had that team. Tree Rollins might have been a freshman. Stan Rome, the Georgia tight end, Jay Rome's dad, and a couple of hot shot guards he brought in. And they had that 18-point lead, and they were carving up North Carolina. And suddenly Dean literally turned the heat up in the building.
Yeah.
And they lost.
Yes, he did. Hey, we got the Governors coming up. They've never lost anything in Chapel Hill. They're coming up next. right, we're back. Sports Talk. Phil Kornblut in Fort Lauderdale, the pro back in Columbia. Hey, you want more from your college education? Well, Palmetto College offers the quality of a 4-year education online. And to find out more, visit palmettocollege.sc.edu. With Palmetto College, your future has no limits. Just like Clemson, Palmetto College has never gone to Chapel Hill and won a basketball game. But you know what? It's about, when you're Clemson, it's about winning the 5-minute segments or hanging in there. And through the first 5 minutes, the Tigers have done just that. Clemson 8, North Carolina 8, with exactly 14 minutes to go in the first half. All right, now it is time for the holiday edition of the Football Filibuster. Typically, state government not in session during the holidays, but we call to order our two favorite governors of all time, Governor Jim Hodges, Governor David Beasley. Between them, I don't think you guys ever lost anything to the state of North Carolina.
Oh, never. Isn't that right, David?
Never. We're in 100% agreement on that.
you know, something you could have done was maybe make a trade, maybe like give North Carolina Marlboro County in exchange for Mecklenburg County. That might would have worked.
I live over near Marlboro County. There's some mighty fine people over there. We wouldn't trade them for anything.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's see. Hope you had a great holiday, Governor Hodges. Everything go well?
It sure did. I'm happy to have a few days off and ready for the new year.
Well, you needed some rest and a chance to get your thinking together after a horrid end to the regular season. Governor Beasley, how was your holiday?
It was great. I can't even put my blue jeans on anymore. I had to wear sweatpants. I gained so much weight.
I hear you. Are you making it down this way for the game tomorrow?
Well, I was, but everybody in the family is going down, and my wife and I decided we're going to stay here and watch it in front of our beautiful television with her sister-in-law or her sister and brother-in-law. And so we're going to really have a mighty restful time watching it from our living room, comfort.
There you go. That's great. Well, listen, you finished up. You went through rivalry week and all that, and championship weekend 7-3. You're 79-61, 18 games over against the spread. That's Las Vegas-like. I mean, somebody out there who's a professional handicapper might look you up.
Well, a blind dog will find an acorn every now and then, or a blind squirrel. But Jim's had such a great run, and then he had to take some chances at the end, and it didn't work. Usually, nothing.
Well, I think, unfortunately, mathematically, you have clinched because you've only got 13 games to pick. You've got an 18-game lead. Governor Hodges, you were 3-7, championship week 61-79. I think you're going to have to hand the corn cup over to Governor Beasley.
Well, I had a year like the Gamecocks did this year.
Right. So that mean you're going to fire yourself? You're going to fire yourself or a coordinator? What are you going to do?
Well, Chip Kelly is my new coordinator since he's available.
All right. Smart move. Okay, let's get rolling here and see what we've got for you. We got 13 bowl games to run through, so let's get at it. Governor Hodges, will let you lead off here. Houston and Florida State, the Seminoles are favored by 7. What do you think?
Well, you're the expert on Houston. Everybody knows that. So I will do my best to channel Tom Herman, and I believe that I'm going to take the points with Houston.
You want Houston and the points. The first thing he bought himself when he got that raise was a set of braces. He's now got braces on his teeth. Governor Beasley.
I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a mighty big day. So I'm going with Florida State.
Florida State. Okay. West Virginia, Arizona State. Sun Devils getting 1, Governor Hodges.
That's a pick 'em. I'm going to toss a coin here, and I'm going to go with Arizona State.
Okay. Governor Beasley.
I'm with Jim on that one. I think Arizona State's got a little bit more offense, and 1 point, that might be the 1 point they need. So Arizona State.
All right. Oregon and TCU. TCU favored by 1. Governor Hodges.
I'm a big Gary Patterson fan in bowl games. He tends to do really well when he has extra time. I'm going to take TCU.
Governor Beasley.
I'm going to go with the Oregon, the Ducks. I think they're healthy. The offense is rolling. I'm going to go with them. But Jim's right. ECU plays good in these bowls. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Kansas State against Arkansas. Razorbacks a favorite of 13. Governor Hodges.
You know, Arkansas just can't stand prosperity. If they've got a game that's favored a lot by, they won't win it by that much. So I'm going to take K-State and the points.
K-State and the points. Governor Beasley.
I'm with Jim on that. That's a heck of a lot of points. Arkansas, I think they'll win, but, that's a lot of points. Too many.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got Kansas State as well. Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, and Ole Miss favored by 7.5. Governor Hodges.
Yeah, a lot of trouble in that Ole Miss program here the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take Oklahoma State the points.
Okay, Governor Beasley.
That's a tough one. I think after last year's beat down, I think Ole Miss is going to come to play. So I'm going to take Ole Miss. I think they're going to win it by 10.
Okay, let's go to Penn State, Georgia. Bulldogs favored by 6.5. Governor Hodges.
You know, you both may remember this, but there's no love lost between those coaching staffs going back to the Vanderbilt days with Coach Franklin. But I am going to take Georgia in this game. I think that it's the last opportunity for Coach McClendon before he goes here, and I think they'll be fired up for it.
All right, Governor Beasley.
I'm going to pick Penn State. I think there's too much coaching turmoil down at Georgia to give this many points. I think Georgia still may pull it off, but I think it'll only be a field goal.
Let's go to Stanford and Iowa. Governor Hodges. Iowa is getting 6 against Stanford.
Yeah, not much love for Iowa here. I think I will take Iowa, though. I think 6 points is a lot for a ball game like this, so I'll take the Hawkeyes.
Okay, Governor Beasley.
I'll pick Stanford. I think they got the offense in pretty good gear. It is.
Stanford it is. We'll let Governor Hodges lead us the entire way here since this is, of course, I could pull what's his name? Steve Harvey, and after we're done, do a recount and realize that I've been counting wrong all season, and Governor Hodges was actually the true winner here. But
the runner-up wins.
I don't think that's good. That's about what it would take for him to be declared the winner this year. Michigan and Florida, and the Gators getting 4. Governor Hodges.
Yeah, not much offense there for Florida. I'm going to take Michigan in this game.
You want the Wolverines, Governor Beasley.
I'm going to go with Florida. I think the defense will keep it close, and 4 points is up in the air. So I'll go with Florida.
All right, you want the Gators. Governor Hodges wants Michigan. Notre Dame and Ohio State. Governor Hodges, who do you like there?
Yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame purely. I mean, it's a 7-point game. I think I'll take Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, Governor Beasley.
I'm going to go with Ohio State. I think in this bowl game, they're going to show why they were ranked number 1 for part of the year, and I think Notre Dame's going to feel the brunt of that talent they got on that team.
Okay, Tennessee and Northwestern. Tennessee favored by 8. Governor Hodges.
Again, 8 points is a lot of points for a bowl game. I think I'll take Northwestern.
You want the Wildcats, Northwestern, Governor Beasley?
I don't think Northwestern's offense can keep up no matter how many points. So I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Okay. Now to the semifinals, Michigan State, Alabama. Bama favored by 10. Governor Hodges.
I think Bama will win, but I don't think they'll win by more than 10 points. So I'm going to take Michigan State.
Oh, you want Michigan State, all right, Governor Beasley?
I'm with Jim. Same thing. I think Bama will win, but not that many points.
You both want the points in Michigan State. All right, hang on. We'll come back and get your picks on the big one for us, Oklahoma-Clemson, in a moment. All right, Clemson's still in it with North Carolina, 21-17. 8 minutes to play in the first half. And Clemson finally wins in Chapel Hill when no one is paying attention, because we got this thing here in Fort Lauderdale known as the National Semifinal between the Tigers and Oklahoma. It's also known as the Orange Bowl, but now better known as the National Semifinal. All right, Governor Hodges, Tigers, they're getting 4 points. Number one team in the country, 13-0, but they're the underdogs, and they're getting 4 against Oklahoma. What do you think?
Yeah, not enough respect for the Tigers here. I think Clemson's going to win this game, so I'm going to take the Tigers.
You want the Tigers. I know what Governor Beasley's going to do, but anyway, let's let him have the floor.
I think unless there are 35 suspensions tomorrow on the Clemson team, Clemson is going to win by more than 4.
You think you're that good that they could withstand at least 35 more suspensions, huh?
Well, as long as it's the bottom 35, but still, I felt so sorry for those kids. Talk about doing something really stupid. I mean, how could you do that going into the greatest game of your career, and you just want to take a stick and whap them upside the head and say, guys, what are you thinking? But anyway, I don't think it's going to dampen the spirits of the Clemson players. I think they're going to be fired up, and 4 points is not enough for Oklahoma.
Well, things for Clemson started rolling with you this year, because you are on this program, in this segment, the public face of Clemson, and you got it rolling, and you've clinched your championship, and maybe that is what propelled the Tigers to what could be their championship.
Well, I think it's our story. We're going to stick with it, aren't we?
If it works. So before we let you guys go, and we thank you both for another great, compelling season of the football filibuster, Governor Beasley, let me give you an opportunity to accept the Corn Cup and share your thoughts about what that means to you after all these years of getting whooped.
Well, after being humiliated for so many years, it finally has my pride back, so I can stand tall out there in the streets of South Carolina. And so at least I have one victory on my belt with Jim. Jim's beat me so many years in a row, so we're with me.
Being humble sometimes, Governor Hodges, can have a positive impact on an individual.
Well, I will be happy to let David win every time that Clemson wins a national championship. How about that?
Okay.
That sounds like a good deal.
I'll take the rest.
So you're saying roughly about once every 35 years.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Hey, Happy New Year to you guys.
You too. Listen, we can't thank you. We can't thank you enough for being with us every week. I know it's taxing sometimes because you guys are in all kind of weird places. But we thank you very much for being part of the show every football season, and we look forward to doing it next year too.
Thanks.
Best to you guys. See you, Jim. See you, Phil.
See you, Dave.
Thank you, guys. Governor Jim Hodges, Governor David Beasley. And we thank them and see how things wrap up with their bowl picks here on Sports Talk. Today in Chapel Hill, it's North Carolina 25, Clemson 23. Tomorrow night here in Fort Lauderdale, it'll be Clemson against Oklahoma, actually kicking off at 4 o'clock. Yesterday, I had a chance to talk with the Tigers' co-offensive coordinator, Jeff Scott. I asked him what makes the Oklahoma defense a challenge. Jeff, as you look at this Oklahoma defense, what gives you the greatest concern?
Well, they got a lot of experience coming back. 9 of the 11 that we faced last year are all back. Having another year playing together, not just individually, but playing together as a group. There's a lot of value that comes in that. You can see a big difference on video this year from last year. Not many busts in the secondary last year. I think, they had some busts where they were giving up some big plays, but they're very sound in what they're doing. A little bit more multiple than they were last year. Very athletic, long, and the guys up front, defensive side of the ball, do a great job playing with their hands, and it'll definitely be one of the best defenses we played all year.
Do you have to pay special attention to anybody in particular, like, say, Eric Stryker? Does he get a little more of your attention?
Well, he's obviously a very talented player, and, I think Deshaun's going to be sure he knows where he is at all times, whether he's to the field or to the boundary, because he's a guy that can get there in a hurry and be very disruptive when he does get there. Like a lot of these talented defenses, they're not just one or two guys. They got guys all over the place, and so really you have to focus on the whole scheme and focus on your execution and being sure that all 11 guys on offense are doing their job. And if they're not, they can definitely cause problems.
How are you expecting them to play you coverage-wise in the secondary?
I think they'll be multiple in what they do. Last year they played a little bit softer coverage and gave us some of the short, quick throws. And that was a big part of the game. So I would imagine and be prepared that they probably will come up and play in our face a little bit and make us complete some of the deep balls. And it'd be a good challenge. We've faced some great defenses this year. I joke that it's kind of the year of the defense in the ACC. I believe 5 of the top 22 defenses in the country we faced this year. And so our guys have been challenged a lot of different ways, and I've been really happy with the balance that we've had offensively this year. And it allows us to really take whatever the defense has given us, and that's exactly what we'll plan to do on Thursday.
And your guys don't mind a physical confrontation. Your receivers, they don't mind if a defensive back tries to get a little physical with them and take them off the route?
Yeah, well, the good news for them is they go against Mackenzie Alexander, and Cordray Tankersley every day in practice, and they're just so competitive. And so that's one benefit that we have is that we go against a talented defense. But our guys, they enjoy that. They look at it as a disrespect if a defensive coordinator or DB wants to get up in their face and play man coverage. They look at that as a great opportunity for big plays. And we've been very fortunate this year to capitalize on a lot of those opportunities.
How have you guys been able to handle your recruiting duties around all this extra practice and preparation for this game?
Well, one thing I found out is recruiting happens a lot easier when you're having a great season like we're having, and maybe have the platform we have here in the playoff game. And we only got to go out really 1 week there in December, but that was a lot of fun, and the reception we got from the kids and the prospects was great. But constant communication. Being down here in Miami, there's a lot of things, opportunities to take pictures and send videos. So we've been in constant communication on the bus, on the way to practice, after practice, at night. There's been a lot of communication. I know the prospects and their families are really looking forward to watching this game on Thursday.
Can you think of any guys that you got in the door, when I say you, your staff, got in the door with simply because you've made it this far, somebody that maybe you didn't think you're going to have a shot with, and then all of a sudden, hey, he's loving the Tigers because you got a chance to get to the national championship?
Yes, and as you know, a man of recruiting knowledge that you have, I'm not allowed to mention them specifically, but yes, I would say that, that's important to these guys, especially when you're recruiting some of the best players in the country. They have opportunities to go anywhere. They want to go to a place that's going to have a legitimate shot each and every year that they're at your school to play in games like this and have a chance to win a championship. And so, I think that as we recruit, we kind of lay out our plan for success for them individually and for the program, and for them to be able now to watch that kind of take place this year has had a big impact. And I really think it's going to have a stronger impact on the sophomores and juniors than it will with this senior class, even though I think there's one or two seniors that probably had a big impact with. Really, I'm excited about the impact and the future classes we have coming down the line with the 2017, 2018 classes.
Could you ever have imagined when you came to Clemson and you were the recruiting coordinator for all those years, could you ever have imagined the recruiting getting to the level that you guys enjoy right now in terms of the players that you're involved with and eventually sign?
Well, obviously it was a goal, and is what you aspire to do. And when you work for a guy like Coach Sweeney, he's a very optimistic person just in general, even away from football. And so he's really instilled a quality of belief and really of where we're going and where we're heading. And, you know, this is really exactly the plan that he kind of set up 5 or 6 years ago, you know, whenever he was just getting started with the program. And he said it's going to start with recruiting. And really, you know, he points back to Taj Boyd, going into Taj Boyd's house, you know, Oregon, and all these guys are all around. And here comes in this interim head coach, just newly named. He doesn't have a win on his coach, but really laying out his plan and getting guys like Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins, you know, those guys to believe. And now, you know, when you recruit great players, they come, they have a great experience, and, you know, they help your program have success. Then all of a sudden you get that attention from those other top guys coming along behind them, and that's exactly what's happened. And, you know, the exciting part for us, we feel like we're just getting started. You know, we don't feel like that this is the final chapter or kind of the climax. We really, you know, Coach Sweeney says all the time that he believes these next 10 years we're going to look back and say they're the best 10 years in the history of Clemson football. And with our new football complex that's being built right now, and, you know, the leadership that we have at Clemson with Jim Clements as our president, Dan Radakovich as our AD, and then Coach Sweeney as our head coach. You know, I kind of call those the big three. And when the big three are all together on the same page, a lot of strong things can happen. And I just feel like we're aligned for a lot of success in the future.
If you can hold it together, and I know in the back of your mind you want to be a head coach one day, how many more years before you'll be ready to try to take that step and become a Division I head coach?
Well, I mean, obviously, whenever I got into the coaching profession, and I had a great role model in my father, and kind of watched him go from a graduate assistant coach there at Florida State to a position coach to a coordinator, and then he, you know, was able to go from there to being a head coach. And so that's a goal that I definitely have. One thing that I've learned being around the coaching profession my whole life is that, you know, things will happen when the timing's right, and it's hard to predict, and you can wear yourself to death on the internet and looking at jobs that are coming open and trying to figure things out. And, you know, right now, especially my wife and I just had our first child, a baby girl, Savannah, 3 months ago. And so really this is just, you know, one of the best times of my life, and really enjoy the community there at Clemson, the coaches that I get to work with every day, and the players. And this is a great place to be, and we'll see what the future holds. And you know, my dad told me a long time ago, whatever your role is, do it the very best that you can. And if you do that, then you're going to have an opportunity to gain more responsibility as the years go. And so I'm going to stick to that plan. It's just been very blessed going all the way from starting off there at Ridgeview High School and the success we had at Blythewood to now being back at my alma mater at Clemson, and being here. It's just a dream come true.
Okay, Jeff Scott, good talking to him. Starting to sound more and more like the old man as he gets older and becomes a daddy. He'll be a head coach, I'm sure, in college at some point in time as he continues to grow. 36-26. It's North Carolina now starting to pull away late in the first half. We've got Bob Stoops up next here on Sports Talk. update the hoops. At the half, North Carolina leading Clemson 37-30. Blossom game has 7. Roper has 9 for the Tigers. USC up on Francis Marion 38-18 late in the half. And Silva and Notice with 10 each for USC. We've got some Bob Stoops in a moment. But Bob Ibach, Bob Ibach from Chicago, who's been with us a couple of times to tell us about the Clemson footballs that are up for sale for charity. And he's back to give you one more reminder about that. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Phil and Tom, nice to be with you guys tonight. And I've been watching a lot of hoops all day. My alma mater, Maryland, escaped against Penn State. Boy, that was a struggle. I thought they were going to get upset, but when watching the Clemson game on TV as well, and getting ready for that big game tomorrow, the semifinal game against Oklahoma. And I know we were talking before Christmas on these special footballs that I'm helping out to get some funds raised for just a great organization called Extra Yard for Teachers. And it's going to raise monies for teachers in the state of South Carolina through a limited edition football. It's being made by Wilson. These are really, really sweet-looking footballs. Only 5,000 will ever be made. We're down to probably the last 2,200, maybe even less than that, coming into the show tonight. And it'll recap just a tremendous unbeaten season for the Tigers to this point. On one panel of the football, we'll have a recap of every game played, including the Orange Bowl logo that we'll have on there. We'll also have the official college football playoff logo, because this is the official charity for the College Football Playoff Foundation. It's called Extra Yard for Teachers. It's the second straight year we've been doing this. In a second, I'll give out a toll-free number and a website, how fans can still get themselves a piece of sports memorabilia history. These are, like I said, very, very limited. For $99, you get the ball. You get the display case. It's a full-size football with a numbered certificate of authenticity. The first football in the collection will be given to the school to put in their trophy case over at Clemson, and the rest will be sold on a first-come basis to raise money for school teachers throughout the state of South Carolina. Also on the football, in addition to a recap of all 13 games for the Tigers and their unbeaten season, their ACC title win over North Carolina, all those games will be listed in order with the date, the score, and also the opponent. So it's a great way in years to come to remember how the season unfolded. We've also got a special panel on the ball that salutes the school's only national football championship won back in 1981 against Nebraska. And we've also got a little other tidbits on there of Clemson football history. So it's a really sharp-looking football. Again, it's full-size for $99 with the display case. And if you'd like to get these to help out the Extra Yard for Teachers charity, you can go ahead this evening and call 1-800-345-2868. That's 1-800-345-2868, or simply go right to the website online at NICOsports.com, NIKCO-sports.com, and we'll update that with all the results from tomorrow's big game, and hopefully we can also put the information on there for January 11th, because that means that the Tigers will be in the championship game, and these footballs will be sent out to you 6 weeks after the Tigers play their final game of the season. So we're hoping that's not till January the 11th.
You're exactly right, and that would be sweet to be able to add 2 more games to that football, huh?
That's absolutely true. You know, already it's been historic. I mean, 13-0, ranked number 1 in the nation. So many cool things have happened to the Clemson football program that no matter what, this is going to be a season to remember. But certainly we hope that 2 more victories will make it a season to really, really remember and get their second national championship in school history. So, again, that toll-free number to order these footballs, it's $99 with the display case. It's 1-800-345-2868, or go to the website. You can order it right online at NICOsports.com, which, again, I'll spell out. It's NIKCO Sports.com. And you know, one of the things I'm really big about in this whole thing is the Extra Yard for Teachers is just a great charity that is the official charity of the College Football Playoff Foundation. And I know we've all had different school teachers in our life, whether they go back to grade school or all the way to college, who have impacted our life. And this is a great way to salute school teachers. The monies will be used for programs, for recognition programs for school teachers, professional development and leadership training, just a lot of cool things. And most importantly, the monies raised from this Clemson football will only help out school teachers in the state of South Carolina.
Well, that's great. Hey, Bob, thanks again. And if this thing plays on out for another 10 days after tomorrow, we'll hear back from you, I'm sure. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you. And listen, I'm very confident. I'm predicting a big win over Oklahoma. You guys have a great night now.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Bob Iback. Bob Stoops coming up. Hey, whether you're a Gamecock or a Tiger, all South Carolina college football fans can agree on Founders Federal Credit Union with a convenient location on USC's campus and a Clemson office coming soon. Founders is a sure fan favorite. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com to see if you qualify for membership. Couple of quick notes from USC. Tight end Connor Redmond is going to go on a medical hardship scholarship at USC. Had a series of injuries, came in injured with his back, never really got over that. I believe his career is over. Dante Sawyer had some shoulder surgery today. He's going to miss spring practice. Now, Bob Stoops, head coach at Oklahoma, today at the final press conference, talking about being here and being ready for Clemson.
Proud of our players, the way they've come to meetings, the way they've handled themselves in all the functions they've been involved in, and the way they've come to practice. I feel like we've had a great 4 or 5 days of practice. We've had a lot of good work against each other, competitive work, good on good, along with some scout work, of course, for Clemson, and feel like we're in a great position coming into the game. All the respect in the world to Coach Sweeney and his staff and their team, the only undefeated team in the country here. And number one in the country. They've got excellent players across the board on offense and on defense. They do a great job. So it'll be a big challenge. We're very aware of that. But in the same way, our players are very focused and confident and in the way we've been playing. And hopefully we could come out and play our best game of the year here Thursday night.
Back here, James Hale, Sports Talk 1400, The Ref in Norman. You know, Bob, you've gone against some of the best pass rushers in college football in the Big 12, and in your season in Lawson, you'll go against another one. You have one in your squad in Stryker. Can you talk about how difficult it is to try to contain a guy that's really the focus of their defense and a guy that's really good at getting off the edge?
Yeah, he's, you know, you got to do a great job with your technique. You know, if you're late off the ball or if you take a poor step, he's going to beat you. You know, he's just got excellent power to go with quickness and, you know, and speed. So, you know, he plays with great technique. So, you know, our guys matching up with them are going to have to do that. You know, they're going to have to play with great technique and execution. Timing's a factor in it. You know, Baker and his ability, hopefully, to get the ball out. You know, hopefully we can get open in a quick way and get the ball out quick. And, you know, Baker's going to have his moments where he's not going to do that, and he's going to start running around, and hopefully he can make them miss them and get away from them too. You know, he has a way of doing that.
Okay, a little bit of Bob Stoops for you there. If you want to hear more from the Oklahoma coach, it's up on our website, as well as the stuff from Dabo today as well. And we'll have more stuff up tonight for you. And in the morning, further previewing the big showdown. We'll be at the stadium tonight and share our thoughts with you from there with the guys back in the studio. Thank you, Eric. Happy New Year to you. Thank you, Pro. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.